Well, thanks for sticking around, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just joining us, where have you been? My name is Kyle Corbus Crow, joined at the desk today by Joshua Fekez Quest. We have been casting an exciting series between Kansas State and Michigan Tech as the two teams have been back and forth now here at the final game in this best of three series to see who will be taking it all, going to 3-0 in the standings, who will be dropping down to that dangerous 2-1.
Yeah, and that is something to emphasize. I know we've said it a couple times, but we're going to say it again here with the Swiss tournament format. Every loss is very crucial, and every win, of course, crucial as well. And that's what Michigan Tech and both and Kansas State are looking for right now, solidifying themselves an undefeated team going into the next week. And having one loss, just that close from being eliminated from the entire tournament altogether. Of course, there is a Timo Cup to be had, so people, teams that don't compete that aren't able to compete in the playoffs or get past their conference, they do have the Timo Cup to look forward to, which you do win RP for. So it's still kind of cool. It still gives you something to work for. So either team, no matter what, they're still not out no matter what. But if one of the teams do end up going out of the tournament, there is always a bright spot at the end of the tunnel. The bright spot is, of course, Timo's face and light reflecting off of it, and I don't really know if anybody likes that, but it's still a chance to play. But we are in pick and ban phase finally.
Absolutely. So it is going to be Kansas State back on the blue side. We've had red side victories all day today. Thus far has been both teams taking away one on the red side. So we'll see now if Kansas State can look to break that tradition or if it's going to go right back over into the hands of Michigan Tech, taking this series in a 2-1. Early game power definitely in the hands of Michigan Tech. They scrape away the leads pretty quickly, build them out, and it's really only then Kansas State trying to chip back away at it. One important deviation this time: Algu will not be receiving his Azir.
Not this time, and that was a huge amount of power in their last game's team fight. Dim Boys, he just shot damage as well, but he was also on the back foot a lot of times too. And when he was eliminated from the equation, Algu was the one to step in there as the variable that did the damage, and he popped off on that Azir. Did extremely well. Had a death cap, had a Leandre's torment. And of course the Nashor's Tooth as well. Had all the power in the world. I think those Sand Soldiers just piercing through everybody. And once everyone was clumped up in the middle, which were quite a few of those team fights, he was just laying waste to everybody whenever Dim Boys wasn't there to do the same. But as we see, Draven being taken away from Dim Boys. Dim Boys is a prominent Draven player, so he's going to be taking that one for the third time in a row, actually, getting that one taken away. Sejuani reaction band from last game, possibly. Melting Cloth picked that one. The last game doesn't want to give it over to Trevorius, but we do have a Caitlyn pick up on the first going here.
Yeah, this is the first time they've left Caitlyn open. This is the instantaneous first pick for Caitlyn with the Tristana ban as well. I feel like Demboys is going to feel really good about this one. No Cog, no Tristana. He has his Caitlyn. So this is going to be pushing Kunzi onto the third AD for this time for sure. Because he's now he's played the other two that have been banned. Obviously, they left Nunu off the table. Now Nunu picked up red side first round draft. We know that that's not something Trevorius has been keen to play thus far. So Melting Cloth, his third champion of the day as well, going to feel pretty good on that one. Nunu's so strong right now.
Yeah, he's been banned out in the last two games. This being the best of three, third game, he is going to be let through. No Azir to couple with it, no Kog'Maw to couple with it. Those are the two big combos that you see with the Nunu, but actually Kale is one of those combinations as well. Banned out in the first game, went through last game, but wasn't picked. This time it is picked, and with the Nunu, forgot that combination actually could be a thing, and I'm excited to see it be a thing.
Yeah, it's going to be really rough. So 2 power picks out of the gate for Michigan Tech, and it feels like a little bit more of a composition that they've been waiting to play, but just haven't gotten the chance with the way the bans have been running. Now Trevorius and Algu definitely aware of what they want to pick up as they just run right down, grab the Zac, grab the Rise for Algu. Zoe been banned against him all day, but says when it's open, doesn't want it, will take the Rise instead. And he's going to try to charge that one into the Kale. Eesh.
Yeah, that is a lot of map pressure that a Rise does bring, which is something I feel like Kansas State has lacked compared to Michigan Tech. Michigan Tech has run the Shin, has run teleport in the mid lane as well with Vladimir in last game. They have a lot of map pressure from Michigan Tech. This time around, Kansas State, they're looking to answer that one back. And now Ornn finally taken off the map. He will not be picked up by SKT Wolf. Woof. It's a dog sound. But Yeah, we're gonna see what he picks up this time. Trevorius going back on the Zach. I do like that one. Varus over onto the side of Michigan Tech. That is going to be an interesting one. Has no escape, but does have some lockdown. That will be. I think that's going to be an interesting one. A little bit change it up a little bit on the side of Michigan Tech. The whole series actually is being changed up because Varus can actually synergize with Nunu as well with the Blood Boil, giving the AP. Varus does scale off of AP. His percent health procs from his Blight actually scales with AP, so that is not a bad pickup. They got some synergy going with the Nunu. So far, that is what Michigan Tech is going for.
Yeah, absolutely. So taking away a lot of the top lane on this ban side. Look at that. It's 4 top side bans. We saw this happen with support last game, and the support players were just trying to kind of pick up the pieces, do their best from there. This time around, it's going to happen to top. So we'll see what Ace the Wonderbow and SKT Wolf are going to be able to pull out, because these are 4 very high priority top laners right here. No Gnar, no Ornn, no Maokai, no Shen. All gone.
I really want to see some aggressive top laners. We've been seeing these slaps, these like slap in the faces, slap in the face kind of top laners, the wet noodle fights, like people like to call them. Would love to see more like an Irelia, a Jax, a Riven, something like that. Even, dare I say, a Yasuo. I don't think we'll be seeing that one, but it does synergize very well with the Zac. Could be something to get into the back lines and delete somebody like a Varus.
Yeah, I think they're just wanting to put a lot of the eggs in the Caitlyn Rise basket. So I wouldn't be surprised to find something more defensive. Is the Cho'Gath actually locked up? They do take that one out and away, and looks like
yeah.
No, yeah, definitely not. No, not Jojobs. No. But Morgana would be a lot of fun here. I would love to see it. I love Morgana as a support. I love playing her. I doubt that's it's not as big in the meta this time around, but will be locked in. Actually going to get taken away as an answer to the Taric Varus bot lane. More so, I think, with the AP that Nunu is going to be able to just jackknife onto people. Going to be the biggest pickup there. Not a lot. So no support bans, pretty much, this time around. Yet 2 new support picks. We saw, this is a different story. It's they didn't have the priority of the bans this time around, but they did just decide to opt for 2 new runs anyway. And it'll be a Poppy to round out the composition for the side of Michigan Tech here.
I actually like the Poppy pickup because that is a lot of protection given over to Kunzi's Varus. Not to mention, you do have Kayle with her shield, her ultimate, being able to, nullify any sort of damage being put onto him. You have Taric able to nullify damage as well. So you actually have quite a few ways to keep people alive and invulnerable, by the way, on the side of Michigan Tech. But now the Poppy can be a very nice anti-engage with the with her ultimate being able to knock anybody back. Not to mention the shield that she or the radius that she does get, enabling people from launching themselves in like a Zac can do. So that might actually be really huge for a counter engage, or at least an anti-engage coming out from Michigan Tech. I actually really like their comp. It synergizes on so many levels, but it is very unorthodox, and it's going to be really interesting to see if they can make this one pull off.
I think the whole composition really oozes that idea of just changing up the fight dynamic and not getting engaged on, because they have so many options. They have Poppy, they have the below 0 from Nunu to really just stop and engage dead in its tracks. Kayle as well with her ultimate, going to take that one out of that. And then Taric as well, just to get the invulnerability. They have so many options. Chain of Corruption could even be used defensively pretty well in there, given the right set of circumstances. I'm not saying that it's just a defensive spell and so forth. So we saw a lot of agency from Kansas State. We saw a lot of, hey, we want to find the right fight on our terms. So this time for Michigan Tech, they're saying, hey, look, you know what? You might find the fight, but I guarantee you it's not going to be on the terms that you're expecting this time around in a 5v5 situation.
Yeah, very much so. And that's essentially what they are going for. I'm really excited to see this one. So chilling on Morgana, you said it's not very common. I actually do like it. Mostly because you can stop a lot of the, the lockdown or the, if Zac launches himself in, you put a shield on beforehand, he can prevent him from being locked down and still bring somebody out of the back lines of Michigan Tech. And of course, the Morgana shield works in so many ways. Not to mention, supplies a very good catch potential with her Dark Binding being up at 2.5 seconds at level 5. Has a lot of potential there. And not to mention, can dive with the Zac too if you do have the flash up. Not sure if she's going to be taking the Hextech flash. You don't typically see too many Hextech flashes on the competitive play scene, but it is something that is somewhat of an exception for Morgana because of how pivotal getting into the fights and the backlines with her ultimate, her Chains of Corruption really is, or not Chains of Corruption, her Soul Shackle is for Morgana to lock everybody down along with Trevorius.
I think it works really well in the early game too, just for nullifying a lot of those Tarek stuns. I think she's going to be self-casting it most of the time because Caitlyn's range really is going to stay just well out of Tarek's face for the most part there, barring any, summoners to get in or type deals. And even with the new Blood Boil for the gank, I think just the range of Dem Boys here is going to keep him well enough away just as this bot lane. I mean, unless he's just really pushed up, which, that's certainly something that's likely to happen as a Caitlyn. So I want to put a lot of emphasis on this bottom lane watching this one around because this is 4 champions we've actually not seen all day. This is brand new stuff in the top lane, in the bot lane. It's only really one repeat this game, and it's in the jungle for Trevorius. So total change up coming down for this last game. But before we get in to see how that one works out, ladies and gentlemen, do need to give you a little bit of information on the CSL in case you're curious, in case you're a newcomer. If you want to get involved, if you want to find out a little bit more about us, great way is through Discord. You can type !Discord into the Twitch chat at any time to get the information you want there. If you want to keep up with us on our social medias, twitter.com/CStarLeague, facebook.com/CStarLeague. You can always see what we're getting up to there. I want to give a shout out to our beloved sponsor, Twitch. Nothing but gratitude for the largest streaming platform in all competitive gaming to support our collegiate esport endeavors from events like PAX East and West. Many more. The CSL wouldn't be what we are today without their continued support. So a huge thank you to them. If you want to find them on social media, that's going to be facebook.com/Twitch and twitter.com/Twitch. Obviously twitch.com too. You can keep up with them there. It's a pretty good one. Lastly, if you are avid watcher of Collegiate League of Legends, but you don't always have the time on the weekend, you can always catch our VODs on YouTube, spoiler free. That's going to be youtube.com/user/CSL. So plenty of great ways to stay involved there. But we got a game on our hands to worry about right now.
We have a series on our hands. We have a series for a game as well. This is game number 3, best of 3. So each team 1-1 right now. This is it, Corvus. This is a do or die for both teams. And I say do or die only for this match because, like I said, Swiss format, they still have one opportunity, at least one opportunity left, given exceptions here, to come back in the tournament. But you don't want to have that first loss on your hands because that is going to be a huge, huge amount of pressure going into the future games. But we see Michigan Tech doing the same thing they did last time with the group up, but only this time 3 members. And I would assume they're just going to throw down Vision again, but I think they might actually just back off this time.
Spotted. I believe Ace the Wonderbow started the animation for the auto attack on that ward, so I could be wrong there, but I think they realized that was warded, so they don't want to go any further just in case they feel like they might be walking into a trap here. It's only going to be Ace sticking around for this one, and going to be, your standard collegiate safe start. Melton Cloth and Trevorius might spot each other out here. I think they're just on the edge. Nope, there it is. Hello. Going to wave high, and then probably just back right off. The first 90 seconds of a collegiate game. Rolling out like this. The vision is all defensive, and so they will be... I think they're going to know that Trevorius is starting at his red because of just where Nunu was. He's going to roam up to his own red in response, and we'll see if we get any fun jungle games out of that.
Yeah, we haven't actually talked about too much of the top lane here. Wolf with the Cho'Gath. That is going to be an interesting pick because both these teams have a lot of synergy. Michigan Tech with the Nunu going with Kale and Varus, and then of course the invulnerability from Tarek and Kale as well. But I haven't talked too much about the synergistic abilities of, or synergistic comp of Kansas State. I do like the amount of just, I guess, raw CC that they have. They have, not to mention traps. We're actually seeing one of those CCs come out right now.
To land, Chilling going to take more actually in harass than he was able to give out, but that's not the worst thing in the world, taking it as a support and then dealing it onto the likes of the AD. So Kunzi going to be trying to keep up there. Melting Cloth wanted the invade, playing the Nunu games, and finds it onto the blue buff of Trevorius. We'll see if the roam down does come in, because it looks like SKT Wolf wants to find it in there. I don't think they're going to be able to do too much. He should be out and away, and that's a pretty big takeaway to get Trevorius on the back foot there.
Yeah, that is going to, obviously deny Trevorius his blue buff. Of course, Zach doesn't absolutely need the blue buff, and this is actually a really cool thing that they're doing from last game, or that they learned from last game. Well, the last game, when they did invade slightly, they got the information about where Trevorius was going to be starting his jungle at. Saw that he was starting as red as Zach. Playing Zach again, did not get the vision down like they did last game, but assumed that he was going to go the same path. and it turned out to be true. Melting Cloth took advantage of that one, took away his blue buff, and that is going to be a lot more experience going over to Melting Cloth. You see he's already level 3 compared to Travorius, who just now hit level 3, and now Melting Cloth is going to have a 3 buff start, and that is a very nice way to start the game as a Nunu. Hard to really get going as a Nunu. Your ganks are very minimal, especially compared to a Zac, but you do want to get out of this jungling phase as fast as possible and help out your laners no matter what.
So it's all a matter of how he actualizes based off of that, because he can get the good start, but he needs to turn it into some good momentum for his lanes, and there are some harder ones to pick up with that. Does find the blast cone over the wall, the Blood Boil to get him in fast, so we'll see if he can get in onto Chilling here. Does throw the snowball, but that means that just the spell shield comes right out, and that gank is dead in the water.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and that's kind of what I was talking about. Nunu, you don't have many options. You have an Ice Ball to throw out, and that's about it. You have to really rely on your other teammates to lock somebody down. Tarek can do it with his glitter, but Kunzi doesn't have anything yet. He has to wait till level 6 to really lock somebody down, and even then, Melting Cloth doesn't have too much in the arsenal to really help out besides Blood Boil, a Snowball, and Absolute Zero. And Absolute Zero you can walk right out of. It's mostly just a big AoE slow zone that he uses, but let's see how it pans out as we have a gank in the top side by Travorius.
Yeah, both junglers just a little ineffective on their ganks to boot, but it does mean that he shows himself and gives Melting Cloth a lot of just free time to farm out this bottom side of the jungle there, of his enemy's jungle. He's counter jungling very effectively here. And so he's going to take actually both of those camps and just set Travorius a little further back even, 4-3 in the experience game. CS as well, just really building up from that 2-buff start. So all of this gold is going to be well in the favor of Melting Cloth there. Good. Oh, here he comes for the gank again there. This time is no Black Shield because it was used on the stun. They're actually going to turn it around and some good damage onto Kunzi. I don't think they're going to be able to follow through too effectively, especially with that exhaust coming down. But they burn a summoner and they get Kunzi down to have to force his heal. Dem Boys and Chilling did use a heal and a flash apiece just to stay safe. But all in all, I think that actually goes very much in the favor of Kansas State.
Yeah, very much so. And now I'm going to backtrack a little bit and talk about Melting Cloth. That was a very good gank for him overall. He came in from the backside, and that is when you can be an effective ganker as a Nunu on the Rift, coming in from the backside, just cutting off the exit path. But it was very nicely played by Kansas State. They 2 summoners for 2 summoners overall. But yeah, the damage going down onto Kunzi and the exhaust out for Demacia. We have a gank. Travorius trying again.
Yeah, he should be in a little bit of trouble here. I don't think I'll have to burn any summoners, but he's very low health, and so that's nice. Nice. Couldn't burn any summoners, didn't have a splash, and only has a teleport as well, so had to walk out of that one. Really well done by Algu to just keep the damage down. Probably going to force his teleport out back to lane now. And so that's absolutely the right kind of play you want. And that's going to be something that Travorius is very happy with, just to give lane advantage back to Algu there. I do want to touch back on that bottom lane gank really quickly, too, just before we get into anything else. I think that actually would have gone really, really well for the side of Michigan Tech if and only if Kunzi did not get hit by that Dark Binding. That was 100% what turned it around. Dark Binding on top of Tormented Soil, that's so much damage. Had to use a Summoner Heal to get out. And so, all that to say, in a universe where he doesn't get hit by that Dark Binding, that's very much gank advantage going over to Melted Cloth inside of Michigan State. Or Tech.
And more Dark Bindings on the bot side. Chilling doing very well with that one. So yeah, that is something that Michigan Tech need to be aware of. You get hit with a Dark Binding, you're going to be hit with a lot more pressure as well, because Dim Boys can follow that up with a trap, which obviously procs the headshot, but not to mention Piltover Peacemaker. A lot of damage to be had if only just one Morgana Q hits. So very, very nicely played by Chilling, knowing that if he lands a Q, more damage can be brought down upon Kunzi or Demacia OP. Doesn't matter who you first blood. First blood is a first blood, and a kill is a kill, no matter who dies on the bot side. So Kansas State, they are aggressing on the bot side, and they are doing very well at dishing out this damage. Now, I do want to point out, Kunzi does have the stopwatch, so at 6 minutes, actually it's already past 6 minutes, he does have a get out of jail free card, so he might be looking to use that pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So all in all, a lot of lane pressure, very much coming over into the hands of Dem Boys. I think this is indicative in the CS game of how this pick and ban went for these two teams, because Dem Boys gets his Caitlyn off the rip, and then it's 4 bans on the ADs to force Kunzi down now into into this Varus. Maybe 2 bans. I don't exactly recall. I think ban priority actually went over to the top lane later. That's what I'm confusing with.
Yeah.
So either way, they forced him onto the Varus, and I think that was the 3rd pick in the draft. And so all in all, yeah, it was just 2 bans for the AD, but it certainly was a huge swing, not letting him onto that Tristana, not letting him onto that Kog'Maw, and taking the Caitlyn away. Now Kunzi seems to be playing from the back foot. He's about 30 CS down at 8 minutes with no other outside factors. Really, the gank's not even come in from Triple. Ooh, nice stop by Ace Dawanda. Actually going to get Zach in a little bit of trouble here. Kunzi in more trouble. He is the first blood, and it's going to be Zach passive pop. SKT Wolf wants in on Dawanda. He's going to flash in for it, finds the bite down, and another kill goes over into their favor in the bot lane as Chilling takes it away onto Demacia OP. The supportal combat, obviously mostly off the back of Dem Boys, but a 3-0 in just a couple short seconds across the map for Kansas State.
Yeah, the Michigan Tech actually don't have a very early game centric comp right now. They have champions that need to scale up into the mid game, into the late game. Kale, not very powerful early game. Kunzi on the Varus, not very powerful either. But we have some action still going on, but that was actually just the intervention being forced out. So Kansas State taking advantage of that one. Trevorius, I should say. Actually finding a gank. He found a gank early on. He is so far down in farm, he has to gank. He has to do something to put these laners ahead because Melting Cloth it's taking both sides of the jungle. And what you do is a Nunu. But Trevorius, he hasn't had that much success in the last 2 games. This time, finding a little bit in the top side, and already has an assist on his side, which is more than any other game that he's had so far.
Well, so all things considered for this, ooh, Dark Binding forcing the flash. Very nice. Kunzi had to get out of that one just barely. Reaction time like that, you think he may have just been able to dodge it, but the flash was there and available, and still going to keep him in good spirits. Touching back on to the likes of the jungle gold disparity, I do want to take a look. It's actually only about 500 gold separating these 2 junglers right now. So it has been very well played by Trevorius to stay away, league with Melting Cloth in the same neighborhood of gold. 500 is a lot at this point in the map, but it's not breaking or debilitating despite the large CS advantage. I think that assist really did get him going in the right place. Weren't able to find the dragon turnaround though.
The dragon is still being looked at by both junglers actually, and that is going to be, that's an Infernal Drake, so that is something that anybody would want. Sometimes you have to wonder the importance of the Cloud Drake, whether or not you actually emphasize it. Don't have to really worry about that sort of decision making for the dragon, but we have a gank in the mid lane.
Gonna force the ultimate to come out from Kale, but it's so low timed at this level, so it is gonna be Algu flashing in for that. That's gonna flash out, and now Melting Cloth is there just to make sure everybody gets out in one piece. Algu and Trevorius gonna be okay for that one, but not on the spot, forcing the flash. Algu and Trevorius 2 flashes as well, so actually gonna be slightly in favor of the side of Michigan Tech here. They're not going to feel too bad about that with a flash off the jungle and a flash off the mid. 2 very big engaged tools.
But the dragon is being picked up by Kansas State, and that is going to swing the advantage and power in their favor. And they already have the gold advantage right now with those 3 kills, and now they have the objective advantage. The Infernal Drake, that will be very advantageous for them, especially in the spot lane. Look at Chilling. I love the way he's playing this Morgana.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Going to get himself into a little bit of trouble there, but the Chain of Corruption actually going to be blocked out by the Spell Shield, so no big deal for him there, as well as the Taric stuns. So Kunzi going to get his life taken away for that. Chilling finds the credit. That was a lot of burst. Did not expect to see that one happening. I don't think he did either, because he died with Summoner heal up. So that is a huge misplay, and a nice amount of coordinated burst just for coming out. And Rift Herald gone down. That is the 3rd sneak away from Melting Cloth. The final time he's going to be able to do it in this series. So it's a nice little take back, but I'll take absolutely another kill in the bot lane over Kunzi. Maybe not since it went support, and possibly not since this gank onto Wolf is getting to be pretty extreme. The Rupture will interrupt that below 0. First turret does go down on the bottom side of the map. Dem Boys has found that. So Wolf, really just the sacrificial lamb for all this to happen, actually turns around to kill on his lane counterpart. Is he going to get a 2 for nothing here? The Consume will keep Melting Cloth in good shape, but SKT Wolf is here. Nautilus bot has had to roam up, and that is going to mean Wolf will die. Almost certainly under tower. Yeah, Nautilus bot finds that, but good lord, what a misplay coming out from Michigan Tech.
Huge advantage for Kansas State. They are taking this early game and running with it, and that's been something that they've been having trouble with in the last 2 games. It's been Michigan Tech with the very strong early game, and then Kansas State coming back in the mid game with the team fights, and then it just all depends on the team fight. This time around though, Kansas State, they are taking full advantage of this early game, having 2 kills on the top side, 2 kills, well, 3 kills total on the bot side. Very nicely played so far by Kansas State. Nice 2v1, almost 3v1 in the top lane by Wolf, taking out a kill. And whenever you attract that much attention and still get a kill, that is a success in its own right. But more
trying to punish the lane swap. Chilling going to get in there with a nice hourglass just to keep himself in good shape. Just going to try to get out of that one to follow through with the ult. Dem Boys finds Nautilus spot. Not going to be able to pop it out. The ultimate did not save him, and Demacia OP having to flash away just to avoid the dark binding. Chilling insane on this Morgana. Dem Boys reminding the side of Michigan Tech exactly why you banned that Caitlyn away.
Yeah, that is a huge advantage he has right now. And the Caitlyn, I didn't expect him to be this effective on the Caitlyn, but yeah, that is why, obviously, we haven't seen it thus far, why it's been banned. But we've been talking about Draven being banned out from Dem Boys. Apparently, he's not just a one-trick pony, has more in his arsenal. Caitlyn showing up huge for him. 128 CS to 90 against Kunzi. Kunzi is having a very hard time. He looks like he's out of his element, and Demacia OP not being able to protect him as well as he should. Now, coming into these team fights, that's where it's really going to shine, because Demacia OP does have the overall invulnerability he can cast with his ultimate Cosmic Radiance, and then of course Nautilus Spot also with his intervention to keep things alive. But there's just not that much damage going into these mid-game team fights. I think Michigan Tech know that. They are going to try to shove down whatever turret they can. They pop the Rift Herald in the bot side, and that is going to be the first turret for Michigan Tech being picked up right now.
It's really smart rotational play from Michigan Tech. They did a good job to get that tower off the bat for him and put one back on the board for themselves. Try to keep this gold lead from just snowballing too far out of their favor. Now with Wolf there, this is probably going to mean the end of Shelly's reign of terror. He is just going to be able to feast that one right on up. Does the Rift Herald actually count as an epic monster for his feast stacks, or is that...
I actually don't know the mechanic of that one.
I don't know how that interaction works.
I would assume it is, because it is technically an epic monster. I would assume that it would be counted as that as well.
Yeah, so we'll see. Either way, it looks like he did use that. So all in all, Dem Boys now in a little bit of trouble trying to back on out of this one. Chilling with a 3-man Soul Shackle, but not going to be enough. Has to get out of that one. Dem Boys with the Summoner Spells as well, just to keep it out. They're holding so much attention. Just these 2 players are keeping up all 5 members of Michigan Tech here in position. So Chilling and Dem Boys just buying time and doing so well, while the SKT Wolf now and Algu are coming in on the sides. That's going to mean that Ace the Wannabe is in a lot of trouble here. The Kale Ultimate will keep him alive for just a little bit, and they're going to get out of that one. But look at the way they held that one out for Kansas State. They just bided as much time as possible in a 2v4 situation before turning it into a 5v5 victory, obviously with no deaths, but they maintained pressure, and they're going to get the tower out of this.
Yeah, and again, I want to emphasize, if we're doing it all series, kills are not everything. The objectives are the main thing you want, and very nicely played by Kansas State. They didn't get kills, like you said, but they do get the mid lane turret. That is 3 turrets up for them right now, or they have 3 turrets, I should say, up to, compared to the one of Michigan Tech. And yeah, Michigan Tech, they're trading in their health bars for abilities that let them live a little bit longer, but at the same time, once the Cosmic Radiance and the intervention is down, that just allows Kansas State to dish out so much damage, not to mention Dem Boys. He has an Infinity Edge and a Zeal and his boots already finished, almost to his second big item. Third, if you do count the boots there. We're going to build that Zeal into something. We're going to see what that is. More than likely, or I believe, actually, I don't think it's going to be a Runeance, actually, because pretty sure the Shard doesn't, if I recall, it doesn't build in the Runeance. Sorry if I'm wrong on that one, but either way, we're going to see what Dem Boys picks up here once he goes back, because he does have he has a little bit left to build in, as far as gold to farm to build into it, but once he does, that will be a huge advantage over to him, more so than he already has. And Michigan Tech, they're having trouble keeping up with the power that's being dished out by Kansas State.
I'm a Michigan Tech fan at this point. My eyes are on Melting Cloth, because we've seen Dem Boys was the one that had Caitlyn banned against him all series, gets his priority champion, and really starts to pop off with it. Oh no, Chilling is in a little bit of trouble here. There's only so much that his spell shield will do against all of these spells, with Soul Shackle coming out as well. Gonna freeze him up, but not gonna be enough. Nautilus Bot gets a crucial kill right for him. Kunzi,
oh boy,
gonna be in a lot of trouble there. Now with the teleports coming in as well, Dem Boys forced to get out, despite the fact that there's a juicy target blood in the water. He has to play so carefully. He's going to be in a lot of trouble here. Will actually go down. Gonna die to this one. I'm almost certain about it. Almost No, is getting out of that one. So insane play for Dem Boys to stay alive. Ace the Wonderboy going to be trying to get into this one just to keep the fight alive, but they have to be careful. They can't push this too far out. There is no Morgana still for 5 seconds. Caitlyn is effectively out of this fight. She's playing aggressively, but one spell will do her in. And this is actually going to be a nice good bit of Dragon priority coming out now for the side of Michigan Tech.
It is only a Cloud Drake, though, so it's going to stack up and give them an extra power once Elder Drake gets on the map. But for right now, not a huge threat that Kansas State feels like they need to really focus on. Because the next Dragon will be the Infernal Drake. That will be a huge contention, especially for Kansas State, because they already have one. They want to add more power to that Infernal Drake stack. And, of course, it'll be Michigan Tech's responsibility to keep that away from them because they would love to even up the power. Speaking of power, Nautilus bot on the Kale. Kale is one of those champions that you have to scale into late game. It's not a very powerful early game champion, but can dish out a huge amount of AoE damage come 30 minutes or so. Once you get Nash's Tooth already complete, we're going to see what he builds next. Gwinsu's Rage Blade is a typical item for a Kale or any sort of auto attack. Attack speed item. We're going to see what he builds next. Has 3 daggers in his arsenal right now, so could actually be doing the Runons, which again is beneficial to a Kale. And once this Kale starts getting online and going, it is going to be a lot more power added on the side of Michigan Tech that I feel like Kansas State will need to deal with, and it's going to be hard with how much invulnerability is brought to the table by Michigan Tech.
Yeah, you toss the Blood Boil into that, and you've got yourself a nice steaming hot combo soup coming out for Michigan Tech. So gotta be respectful of that. Definitely can't just start to slump into a feeling of feeling too comfortable if you are the side of Kansas State. And they got picked off on the first end with Chilling. Now this could be a potential pick coming through as well. Thankfully for them, Treborius is here. They're going to try to get Melting Cloth. That's a huge below 0. He is going to be running out of this one. Doesn't have the tower to retreat to the target, and they switch to Nautilus bot as soon as that's gone down. The level 2 ultimate buying some time, but Chilling finds the kill there. And Dem Boys low health bar, but can only worry now about potentially pursuing the members of this team. Demacia OP going to be the one that's trying to run back to his tower. Not going to make it. SKT Wolf feasts on that one, and Melting Cloth is in some trouble here. Might be finding his first death of the game. Look at the downtown shot. Chilling has got 4 kills, more than anybody else on his team. Is this the support carry I see?
It looks like it. He is doing very well on the Morgana. Surprisingly well on that Morgana. And this is going to be a Baron going over. And Nautilus bot, you saw him in that team fight wailing away at anything in front of him, but it wasn't doing that much damage. The Nash's Tooth is not enough to deal damage consistently. You need more items on the Kale. Leandri is a very good item for her as well, but considering you can get more of that penetration, more of that AoE penetration as well, and dish out just more overall damage from your auto attacks. Nautilus, I was going to say Kale bot. Nautilus bot though, he's almost there, not quite though, and we saw an example of that just in that last team fight. He's not where he needs to be, and maybe that's why he's looking at maybe the farm in the top lane. Don't know if it looks like he might be rejoining his crew now, but he's still not there. And it looks like Kansas State, they're aware of how powerful that a Kale can become, and they're trying to push their advantage as heavily as possible. They now have the Baron, and now they're going to try to just shut this game out extremely early to keep Michigan Tech from coming online.
That was a 20-minute and 30-second Baron. That is insanely fast for this team. Dem Boys and Chilling in a really good position. Ace the Wonderbow, can't say the same for him. Not in a great position. Has to flash. Melting Cloth. Thought twice about that below 0, but it is off the table now, and that's a pretty big one to just blow right then and there. So we'll see. He's more of a Blood Boil dispenser anyway at this point, but look at this. Treborius wants the back line on the Zac. Try to get out of that one. Actually has to use the stopwatch just to not feel too bad, but it does give him enough time to take the tower down. Treborius is very low, but he does find Demacia OP, and potentially the way out. No, it's just going to be the fastest pop, actually. Nautilus Spot does find that one, but Poopsie goes down in the meantime, and SKT Wolf is causing all sorts of trouble. Not as much as Dem Boys, though, as Nautilus Spot is taken out in the way. 22 minutes, and they are knocking at the inhibitor doors. They're going to find this tower at least, possibly the inhibitor as well, as it is only Poppy and Nunu left alive at levels 11 and 12 respectively, so they are not in good shape to play the defensive game here, and that's huge pacing coming out for Kansas State.
22-minute inhibitor. Wolf is so huge in these team fights, not just literally, but figuratively as well, I guess you could say. He is, I mean, obviously a big sprite, but very intimidating, takes up a lot of the space. Whenever you want to click, you're probably clicking on him just by mistake. But at the same time, he is scoring these knockouts, scoring these silences so well. Chilling. Look at the synergy. There's the knockup in the Dark Binding. Another knockup would have came through if Steadfast Presence weren't activated. There is so much cohesion on Kansas State right now that I'm wondering. I guess this was in the previous 2 games, but not to this degree because the lack of cohesion. Yeah, the lack of cohesion in the composition for Michigan Tech way different the last 2 games, and I think Kansas State they're just taking advantage of that one, and they're just playing to their best, and their best is absolutely destroying right now. Mid lane inhibitor down and Baron taken already. The second Infernal Drake is going to be up in 50 seconds.
This is look at it. It is a 12K gold lead at 23 minutes. That is insane to me. They'll get this next Infernal Drake very likely, just the way that the wards are positioned. It's a lot of defensive warding, and I actually really have to commend the side of Michigan Tech here on their defensive warding. They have found a lot of vision priority, and I think it's helping to keep them safe. However, Nautilus bot very far out and away, and I do not think his ultimate's going to keep him safe in this regard, as look at the damage from Dem Boys. It's only a few shots, and the health bar is gone. Flash burned as well. Nautilus bot really not having the game of his life this time around. And they're not even going to be worried about the dragon. They can just push right into this tower. They want another inhibitor. That's where their mind is going.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to possibly get that one. We do have a split push in the top lane as Algu is pushing in that top lane with Ace Dewanda. Yeah, they both have teleports, but Ace Dewanda, I don't think he's going to have a chance to use it. There's the engage.
It's going to be actually a good below 0 coming off, but it's only Wolf that it hits. A lot of time, but it's a lot of time bot that Nunu cannot be helping out otherwise, so they're going to be doing a lot of damage. Demacia OP likely going to fall here. Kunzi going to be the next target with their eyes on him, and look at that.
Oh my God.
It is going to be the ultimate taking it out and away. Triple kill for Dem Boys on Caitlyn. Finally gets shut down, but it's just a misplay to the tower that really gets him. That said, he is their threat to this inhibitor, so the remaining members of Kansas State are going to have a hard time taking this one down. They have to be careful. They have to be quick because Nautilus bot is going to try to salvage this one. Ace the Wonderbow as well. Inhibitors down. Second one to deal with in sub 25 minutes, so they should just be able to taper off, get back out of here, maybe set their sights on the dragon. I don't know. And at this point, good night, Dem Boys is a terror.
Yeah, he is 7-1-6. He just died for the first time in that last team fight. And that was only because he got a little bit cocky, and why not? I mean, you have all the power in the world right now. And not to mention, his headshots are proccing so fast because he has 2 attack speed items, Static Shift and Rapid Fire Cannon. Rapid Fire Cannon, well, I've seen him proc his headshot twice with the Rapid Fire Cannon, so it's from an extra amount of distance, which is insane. Nobody can reach him. There's no dive potential on the side of Michigan Tech. It's only anti-dive, and they're not making it work. So they are losing on every front right now. 2 Infernal Drakes over on that side of Kansas State. Third one going to be up in about 6 minutes or so. But the Baron up in 1:50. I'm pretty sure Kansas State will have control of that as well.
I don't even think they need it at this point, but with the 2 Baron favored inhibitors down, being in the bottom mid lane, pushing the waves furthest away from Baron, that's going to be a really big advantage coming out for the side of Kansas State, as if they need any more advantages at this time. 16-3, right? We've had close kill games relatively thus far. I think 14 and 24 was a big disparity for MTU in the game that they won, but this time around, it is a Kansas State kill story, it's a Kansas State Dragon story, it's a Kansas State gold story, it's a Kansas State tower story. You see where this is going.
Yeah, very much so.
They are absolutely laying on the pressure for this final inhibitor, just cleanly playing around the map. They're going to bounce it back. It's just minions taken out of the fight here, and it is a lot of damage actually coming on to Wolf, but Ace the Wonderbow has to get the knockout, does force out the Zac there this time around. Trevori's not going to be in the fight just yet, finds his way right back in as Melted Cloth does fall to Dem Boys. Ace the Wonderbow going to be very low as well, running out through the gate, and it is now Algu taking down Nautilus bot. That's going to be another one to fall as he gets the double, maybe the triple here. No, it is taken away, and Dem Boys finds the credit here, and that is almost certainly going to be the game. It's still reasonably low depth timers, but 20-30 seconds, it is enough time if you are this far ahead, if you are 9-1-8 Caitlyn, if you are a Rise with as much gold and CS and kills as he has. This is absolutely huge for Kansas State as they turn it on in the third game. Shorter than we've seen thus far, and take it away in 27 minutes.
Yeah, the shortest game we've seen in this series, the shortest Baron the earliest Baron we've seen taken, along with the earliest inhibitor. Kansas State completely destroyed the unorthodox comp of Michigan State. Michigan Tech. Michigan Tech did have a very interesting team composition, but it was not enough. There is just so much pressure, so much engage coming out from the side of Kansas State, and there was absolutely no engage on this side of Michigan Tech. Michigan Tech could not take out Dem Boys. When you have no engage, you have no way to get to the back lines. Dem Boys just going to run all over you, and that's exactly what happened there.
They drafted a very smart composition. They played to their strengths incredibly well. Obviously, Dem Boys and Chilling, a powerhouse duo for this game, really taking it to the side of Michigan Tech and favoring Kansas State as they do now advance to 3-0. They were, some might say, gifted the win last week against DePaul, who did disconnect in the second game, forcing the forfeit. But this time around, they proved exactly why they earned that 3-0 position here against Michigan Tech, who will drop down now to 2-1. Now, with all of that behind us, ladies and gentlemen, we have more collegiate action coming up in just a little bit. It is UBC versus UCB next. And if you're confused on that one, that is University of California at Berkeley and University of British Columbia, two powerhouse Western teams coming up to face off against each other. But before we do that, we got to give a little bit more information about the CSL. If you want to keep up with this action, type !Discord into the chat. Discord is one of the best ways to stay abreast of everything going on in the CSL. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/CStarLeague, twitter.com/CStarLeague, YouTube, find all of our VODs there, youtube.com/user/CStarLeague. And lastly, want to give a huge shout out to Twitch. Love those guys. Thank them for everything they do for us. Follow them, twitter.com/Twitch, facebook.com/Twitch. You're on Twitch TV right now if you're watching this, so you obviously know a little bit about who these guys are. I have been Kyle Corvus Crow. That has been Joshua Fekes Quest joining me today to provide some top-notch analysis for this game. We thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. We hope you join us for UCB and UBC coming up shortly here. But for now, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.